Pound dollar is an interesting one because similar to euro dollar, it has also been bearish for the whole month. So I do anticipate it to find some kind of a bullish support until today and tomorrow, so that it doesn't close at the very low of the month. It came into the second fair value gap on this range. They cleared out the first fair value gap. Well, tapped the first 50% of the first fair value gap first, closed above, pulled back, cleared the first fair value gap, and tapped into the second one. So ideally, I was expecting price to find some kind of a support there, and it has on the lower time frames. However, going into this week, I have been bearish with pound dollar, and I've been waiting for previous day's highs to be taken out to look for opportunities to go short. We did that on Monday, got a small trade, which I wasn't trading on Monday, so I didn't really care. On Tuesday, we took out yesterday's high, Monday's high, and had some trades which didn't play out. And today, we've already taken out yesterday's high, which also came into, price also had pulled back into this daily time from order block. So yeah, let's just have a look at yesterday's high. So yeah, this is previous day's high, and not only is previous day's high at a key point of interest, we also have this buy side liquidity on the daily time frame that price has come into and put in this strong bearish engulfing candle, this candlestick pattern that we saw on euro dollar. So I am anticipating some kind of a pullback going into London session. So this is something I look for, where we've come into a buy side liquidity on the 240, which also happens to be below, and this order block right there, price has taken out this high where we've come up and put in this bearish engulfing candle. Previous day's high has been taken out. Order flow is bearish on the higher time frames, and then on the 1 hour time frame we had this channel as well. So we have RSI diverging right from this point right here, or even if you look at it this point, and yeah, we have RSI diverging. There you go, we've got a channel right there, and the way price is displaced after taking out this buy side liquidity, especially with this bearish engulfing candle on the 4 hour time frame, it's essentially a unicorn pattern. We've got a breaker, we have fair value gaps, we've got market structure shift, and I have already entered this trade on the pullback at the 50% off that breaker right there, somewhere around here. I've got my stops above these highs to 1.9, I believe, and then I've got my targets. Honestly, I'll be happy with the 1-to-1 with this because everything's screaming bullish right now, in terms of higher time frame order flow, in terms of 240 order flow and euro dollar order flow. Right, I don't expect price to come out down and take out this sales high liquidity anytime soon. That is not what I'm aiming for, especially because since we rejected this low, we displaced up bullish fair value gap, came down, held that bullish fair value gap, pushed up with more bullish fair value gap on the 240, pulled back, held this fair value gap, pushed up, we left this order block, price came down, tapped that order block, and then we took out the low of this candle after tapping that order block one more time, and again pushed up. So everything is just screaming bullish on the 240 at the moment, but we've come into a point of interest where I expect price to find resistance, so I've taken a trade there. So let's see how that plays out. So I've moved my stops above this high at 1.30118, somewhere around here, right here, just to give myself, I believe, right, if we're going to continue lower, we should continue lower from here. We shouldn't be pushing higher up, and if we do, that's fine. It's like a 0.1% loss for me. At least I've reduced my risk. I'm still anticipating price to come down to these lows. We've come up, held the fair value gaps on the previous close candle, and at the moment I do like how price is playing out. We've tried to push up, put in this bullish pin bar candle that took out the low, but then pushed in with this bearish engulfing candle. However, I'm still not convinced with this trade. That's one of the main reasons I've moved my stops above these highs, because I don't know if we are going to continue down to these lows. I like the fact that we came and put this fair value gap. I'm not sure if that fair value gap will hold or not, because we've essentially taken out this low. Maybe I'm looking too much on the lower time frame, but because my bias for the day is bullish on this pair and most of the dollar pairs. That this is essentially, I'm just trading the manipulation during London because I've got, well, price had a nice pattern that played out, and I do anticipate that pattern to play out at least to these lows. So because of that, I'm holding it. Otherwise, I feel like I would have closed this trade by now, and I've watching this thinking it might not even come down to that low. I might just get rid of the trade if it reaches the start of this open close rejection block, whatever you want to call it. It is a painful trade. I just want it to close. It's almost 35. This bearish fair value gap looks like it's holding, but it's not convincing me that it's going to hold because of the fact I didn't see much push. Yeah, let's see. If we come down and take out this low that price recently formed on the 5-minute time frame, right, I think I will move my stops to break even. Then it shouldn't really be moving. Price really shouldn't be pulling back up, because if it does start to move back up in that direction, essentially means it's taking out liquidity and now it's continuing its bullish direction. So I will just see how that plays out. We're also in, discount of this range. Just want this trade to close already. Also, I entered at the 30096 instead of the 50% of this order block, mainly because I saw that we had a swing high right here on the 5-minute clear, or 15 on the clear on the 5-minute above these highs. So yeah, I entered right above here. Look at this 5-minute candle, man. This is exactly what it's going to do, isn't it? It's going to close up above this bullish fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap, and invert it and then continue higher up. I'm gonna take a walk and get away from my desk for a bit because I'm talking myself out of this trade at the moment, and I'll rather just see it hit stops than exit that trade early. So this is what the market has done since my trade yesterday, which I took right at this pullback during the London session on Wednesday, and then we dropped right after pushing up first, dropped and then pushed up and then just consolidated sideways. We've got NFP coming out tomorrow. It's the last day of the month right now, right? And because of that, and we're closing strongly bearish at the moment, I would think price is going to find some kind of a support somewhere soon because of the fact that it's almost the last session of the month and we've just cleared out this 240 fair value gap, tapped into that second fair value gap on the weekly time frame, and to be honest, I do think we'll find some kind of a support here, but let's forget about that and let's look at how my trade played out. As I was saying, if price came below this low, I was going to move my stop to break even. So after seeing that, I moved my stop to break even and I got stopped out at break even, and then price pushed up, took out Asian highs, which is when I should be entering for future notes, right? It's a good area because we came up at the time when it was coming up, it looked like it was strongly bullish. I did not want to get short, and then we come up, take out Asian high, we accumulate slightly for a bit towards the end of London session, and then we get this close above on the 5-minute, and then price just drops all the way down to the low of that channel on the 1-hour time frame, and then finds support. So yeah, essentially, right, we came up, took out these highs, Asian highs, we put in this prerequisite for my bearish engulfing candle, these two candles, and then that was followed by a bearish engulfing candle that took out the highs of the previous candle. So looking at that, as I was saying, this is a nice bearish engulfing candle at a nice level, and then it was followed by a bullish engulfing candle that took out low from the previous candle and that candle, and then that was followed with a bearish engulfing candle. Honestly, too much going on. And looking at it from hindsight, this bearish engulfing candle would have been a good opportunity to go short on this channel, because that, just shows a significant indication that price wants to move lower, and even trading that down to that low would have been a good target, especially because of the fact that it's Wednesday. We are in a bearish order flow. We have taken out previous day's high. The only thing that was keeping me from trading any of these trades was the fact that it's end of the month with NFP coming out on Friday, and the fact that we've been so bearish every single week of this month. I was predicting some kind of a pullback going into the end of the month, which at the moment it's not happening. We'll see how that closes today. But yeah, trade management saved me on this from break even. But had I waited for this, and even there was just signs like clues We take out the highs, that's fine. All right, and then we come up. We fail to close above this high, which is a good sign. Although we close on 15 minutes, we don't on the 1 hour. Even this candle right here, bearish engulfing candle that took out highs, would have been a good entry. Again, good candle. Price comes down to the New York Open. Look how it doesn't pull back. I was waiting for a retracement. I wanted price to pull back to the 618 and then look for an entry, which it doesn't happen, right? Of course, it never happens. Whenever price wants to move away from my prediction, it moves way too quickly because I never get the entry. Normally, I would have taken that entry after price came to this low because, you know, you see this market structure shift with this nice bearish momentum and then enter at the 618 pullback, stops above those highs, and then price comes up and takes out my stops. But I've stopped doing those things because I much rather want to be around these areas when I'm counter trading, or this is trend trading. But it's a mixture of trend and counter because of the overall context of the time and price. But it's what it is. I do like the fact that we accumulated, right? Accumulation and then manipulation on the 5 minute, clearer of the manipulation on the 15 minute with this bearish engulfing candle, which would have been a good entry. But yeah, that's the play. And exact same thing happened today on euro dollar. I'll just show you quickly just for future reference. Excuse all the markings. I've got a shit ton of marks here. Yeah, I was expecting price to come into this fair value gap right above this order block. We have this daily time from fair value gap. It's Friday. It's Thursday. It's also the last, well, second to last trading day of the week. We also have the bearish fair value gap on the weekly time frame. So this could essentially just be an order block on its continuation way down. Just a prediction, whatever. That's long term. But yeah, it comes into this fair value gap, weekly time fair value gap, daily time fair value gap, pushes above the daily time fair value gap into the start of the weekly time fair value gap. So for me, when I see that, I want to look for opportunities to go short, especially channels, right? I trade channels, and price came up there on the 15 minute, right? We have it right there. We have a channel. It's a small one, but it's a valid channel. We've got RSI diverging all the way up there. So yeah, I wanted to take a trade like now. I want to take a trade with a 618 pullback right here. What happens here? News comes out, right? We put in this channel candle during news, and I was expecting price to come up and take out the highs of that news candle. Why? Because that's where it finds liquidity before finding resistance, especially given where the location of the price right now, which is an area that I want to go short at. 5 minute, look at it. It looks exactly like the pound dollar, right? We came up, accumulated, boom, manipulation at top, and then just drop, and no pullback, no nothing, just drops, which is annoying, so annoying. And that's what price likes to do. It just goes away from you. And honestly, NFP tomorrow, I'm not looking to trade anymore. I'll just let market do its thing, and we can come back during NFP and see what it does.